Hello and welcome, everyone. We are super excited to have Mary Kravitz with us here today. She is going to be giving you all kinds of great information on building your coaching business, your marketing, acquiring clients, etc. So very much looking forward to it. A couple of quick housekeeping things, and some of you are familiar with this. Many of you have submitted questions ahead of time, so we do have those and they have been shared with Mary. She's got things built in throughout, and of course, additional questions are invited during this presentation. So there's two different approaches that are going to happen today. One is there is a question panel, and you can type in your questions whenever you want. We'll monitor those. Mary will take those when it fits with what she's got for you. And then there will be a few times where she will invite people to raise your hand and come on live. And what will happen is if she's inviting a few people to come in live, when you raise your hand, I'll know you're okay with being unmuted, and I will unmute you individually. You can share whatever she's asking for, and then we'll have you back on mute. The reason we're doing that is there's so many of you here, we've got to manage the sound. As often happens, you've already been asking, hey, will you have access to this information again later? So a couple of good things for you there. Yes, the recording will be on YouTube. We will email a copy of that to all of you. And Mary is also going to give you her information at the end. So if you want access to additional information or connection, etc., you're going to have that. To share background with all of you, Mary is a business development expert. Over the years, she has consistently simplified her businesses to help her triple. For example, a real estate business in under a year. She created a national networking event, and more recently, she has tripled her consulting practice. She is going to share specific strategies that she and clients implement to get them quickly on track for doubling and tripling their incomes. That sounds great, right? Mary is a recognized expert at taking the tangled mess of business, boiling it down to the essential actions that give you more time, more money, and your sense of humor back. So please, everyone, welcome Mary. And what I am doing, so you all know behind the scenes, is I'm turning over controls of the screen to Mary, and she is going to share with you her PowerPoint. So thanks, Mary, and please take over.
Thanks so much, Kathy, for having me here, and welcome everybody. I'm so excited you're here. I'm glad you made time in your busy schedule to invest in yourself. So welcome to the More Clients, Less Marketing webinar, How to Create More Leads and Income by Doing Less. And what I'm going to share with you today was designed for coaches who maybe don't love marketing. You love what you do, but don't love marketing. And you want to find an authentic way to attract more clients. So what we're going to do today is you're going to learn how to cut back the time you spend on your marketing efforts, usually by 50 to 90%, while multiplying your results so you can stop stressing out about where your next client is coming from and instead focus on making a bigger impact in the lives of others. So if that sounds good, you are in the right place. To get started, I want to be clear about one thing right away. If you're like most of us, we attend a lot of trainings, and you may be wondering, how's this different? So I'm going to start with an important foundational understanding that will guide the teachings today. So the key to success is not about doing more. Contrary to what your email and Facebook feed is telling you, the key to success is not doing more. Success comes from maximizing what's already working and leaning into your values and strengths. I hope that's good news, because I know a lot of coaches we're seeing all kinds of marketing and sales tactics that are out there. They feel very pushy, very fake, inauthentic. And this is a different way to approach it. Maximize what's already working and leaning into your values and strengths. That's how we're going to approach everything today. Here's how we're going to do it. What I'm going to cover today is we're going to uncover the single biggest reason your marketing efforts aren't working and go over how to fix it. Secondly, We're going to create a customized, streamlined marketing plan that will allow you to stop wasting time and money on things that don't work. Because when you're growing a coaching business, there are so many ways to market yourself. It's tempting to try to do it all. But that only leads to feeling overwhelmed, inauthentic. It doesn't lead to results. So we're going to create your customized plan. And this plan is just one component of the larger, more clients, less hassle system I'm going to teach you to double your income and cut your work time in half. So you're going to get a complete system of strategic concepts that'll streamline your work. Your to-do list will hopefully be shorter after today. And there's going to be lots of aha moments happening. And I guarantee you're going to get great tools you can implement immediately. And then there's always a handful of people who want more and want to maybe talk to me about how to get more resources and support. I will definitely let you know how to get a complimentary session with me if you'd like to explore working together further. Now, you don't know me, and you don't know where this stuff came from. So very briefly, I'm going to just give you a background on where this all came from. So today, I've got a great business. I'm on track for multiple six figures. I get to travel, spend time with people who are most important to me, and most importantly, I get to work with people with clients who are coaches and consultants who are making an impact in the world. And that's just so exciting to me because it aligns with my values. And I also have a team of coaches and experts, so I'm not in this alone. But the first few years just didn't look anything like this. Like most people, I was the queen of everything. I was running in a million different directions. I was hustling to get clients, trying everything, networking, online groups, telesummers, blogging, speaking. I mean, you name it. The list went on and on. And finally, I burned out and I got sick with adrenal exhaustion. And this is kind of a warning to everyone, is that you can't keep going this way, because my health crisis forced me to stop all the busyness. I had very little energy to do anything, but the bills still had to get paid. So I had to answer the question, how can I get the most results with the least amount of effort? By finding the answer to that question, everything started to turn around for me. It was crazy because I was sicker with less energy, but getting dramatically better results. And what I discovered during that time helped me double my business several times over now. And it's exactly what I'm going to share with you today. And from this experience, I know one thing for sure. If you're thinking, well, yeah, Mary's like magical or something, it'll work for her, but not for me, it's absolutely not true. I did all of this when I was sick. So if I can do it, anyone can do it. Anyone can learn how to create a steady stream of great clients. You don't have to be born with it. You just have to commit to who you are and put some strategy behind it. All right, so today we're going to create a high return on investment experience. I'm going to tell you how in 5 easy steps, and then we're going to jump right into the content. So first of all, if you haven't gotten the action guide, you want to go to marykravitz.com/action. That's going to help you stay on track with all of this, do the work in a very structured way. If you don't have time to get it today, make sure to write down this web page so you can download it later. The second thing is please turn off your distractions, because it's so easy to get sucked into multitasking and thinking you're actually getting something out of this while you're checking your Facebook account or email. But the truth is, if you're doing that, you're neither here nor there, and you won't have learned anything or remember anything by the end. So make yourself important enough to turn off your distractions and give yourself the time to invest in yourself. Third thing is please trust the process. Everything in this presentation builds one piece on top of the other. And if you're anything like me, sometimes I get impatient when a speaker is building the foundation for the concept, but please trust me. Every slide, every word is included here so you get the complete picture, really usable tools without gaps. And stay to the end. So why would you want to stay to the end? Well, a lot of clients, 9 out of 10 of my clients, want to position themselves as experts to get more high-quality clients, and speaking is one of the best ways to do this. And the problem is they didn't know how to get speaking gigs, and neither did I until I created my 3-step system to book all the speaking engagements you want. So I'm going to give that to you at the very end, including the verbiage for what I call my magic email that helps you book speaking gigs quickly and easily. And the last thing is we're going to make this a conversation as much as possible. And the way we're going to do this is I'm going to have 2 times that you're going to be able to come onto the call. The first time is going to be right now. So raise your hand. We're going to have 2 or 3 people introduce themselves, who you are, where you're from, and your top reason for being here. You're going to get like 30 seconds so we can jam through this and get to the content. And then the second time is going to be at the end. We're going to actually be available past the end time. I believe Kathy said was okay. If anyone wants to stay on to ask questions specific to your own challenges and goals. So Kathy, do we have people raising their hand?
Yeah, we do. We've got several. So Susanna Crofton raised her hand. I'm going to unmute Susanna. Susanna, please share what you want today.
Oh, hi. I'm just finishing a certification class with y'all, and I want to jump right into the marketing. So I'm really starting at square zero. I haven't made any mistakes yet, and taking this class to and I have a consult with Mary at 10 this morning. So
yes.
That's funny. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. And I've got a couple of more. So I'm going to mute Susanna again, and I'm going to bring John Carney on live. So John, tell us what you want.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I've been in practice full-time now for about 6 months, coming back into it after being gone out of it for about 10 years. And I started like 30 years ago, so I'm used to yellow pages and networking directly with people and no internet. And so at this particular point, I'm going, okay, so how do I really get the best bang for my buck as far as getting clients to get on my website and call me or sign up for an appointment?
Okay.
Perfect.
Awesome. Awesome.
Great.
Thank you, John. And now I'm going to unmute Karen. Karen Yarn. So just a sec here. It is, for some reason, it's not letting me unmute Karen. I'm not sure what the glitch is there, Karen. I am so sorry. And to let you know, those are the hands that volunteered to come on live. We've got lots more people here. I can share ahead of time, many people were submitting things they wanted, and it really was focused on the learning about marketing and gaining clients. So thank you.
Yep.
And go ahead, Mary.
All right, fantastic. So I have a lot of content. This is going to be very, very dense. And luckily, you're going to have access to the recording afterwards. I move very quickly because to get the complete picture, that's how we have to move today. So we're going to jump right in. All right, so the first thing is we're going to uncover the single biggest reason your marketing efforts aren't working. And here it is. You're so busy caught up in doing, you don't know what's working. So my most successful clients are like you. They're willing to work for the results they want. They just want their efforts to pay off. But you can be working so hard, you can get so caught up in busy, you can lose track of what's working. So here are 3 tips to fix the problem of being caught up in the doing but not getting the results you want. So number 1 is be willing for success to be easy. Now there is a rampant belief in business that in order for something to be effective, in order to get results, the method must be complicated, and nothing could be further from the truth. And intuitively, instinctively, you know this already. So I'm going to walk you through how to find the most effective marketing strategies for you. But the truth is, if you don't commit to letting business be easier, you may complicate even the simplest plan and be back in overwhelm tomorrow. So there is an inside job to be done first. So the way to make business easier on you is to change the way you think about it. So anytime you're feeling overwhelmed, get mentally prepared by asking yourself, am I willing for this to be easy? Now this is called interrogative self-talk. It's been proven to be 50% more effective than affirmations. I'm not going to go into the details of the research, but what I can tell you is that they work. This kind of self-talk works because instead of merely being a command, like an affirmation, they instead engage your consciousness to look for easy solutions. This taps into your inner resources and values and engages you in a way that works. And I can give you a great example, a real-life example. One of my VIP clients blocked off 2 days to work on developing a teleclass, and keeping this question right in front of her all the time, she completed it in just 4 hours instead of the 2 days. Put this on your wall. It's on mine. All right. Second thing to do to stay out of the busy. Create a customized plan, marketing plan, because one size does not fit all. You're going to get into real trouble when your marketing plan consists of chasing after what everyone else is doing without evaluating what will work best for you personally. That's what we're going to dig deep into today. And the third way to get into busy mode, and this isn't maybe what you usually hear, is to stop settling for small successes. Now, it's easy to settle for small clients and small money, especially when you've mastered how to close them. But often small clients take as much, if not more, time to develop. Settling for the small wins keeps you busy and hustling for small client after small client. This can keep you too busy to go after the big opportunities and making a big impact on your goals. So the best recommendation I can make to get you out of this hustle mode and to really prove to yourself you're ready to play a bigger game is to develop high-ticket offers and programs. Stop selling your services hourly and start creating packages that are $5,000, $10,000, $25,000. And if those numbers, if those scare you, that's okay. It's fine to start a little bit closer to your comfort zone. Start with something smaller, like $2,000. The important thing is find a way to package your services to serve at a higher level than hourly allows you, and that provides a bigger transformation and makes a bigger impact on your income quickly. Now, with all of this, and as we dig into the marketing, thing to remember is you don't want to put yourself out there in the marketplace and try to be credible without the proper training. Now, I know we've all gone through Kathy's training, so you're all prepared, but I do think you know, in every group there's always a few people who are thinking about getting training. When you're in the coaching industry, it's critically important to get your training. The work you do is important. You need to have this skill. Definitely reach out to Kathy if you haven't already gone through her program, and make sure to do that. She makes it very easy. She's got a brilliant structure to it. All right, let's dig into creating your customized, streamlined marketing plan that will allow you to stop wasting time and money on things that don't work. The first part is we've got to stop the overwhelm, because if you were to discover the most brilliant strategy today but we're totally exhausted and overwhelmed, it's still not going to do you any good. So the first thing you've got to do is escape the biggest marketing trap, and that is trying to do it all. Doesn't work. So here's how we're going to go through this. If you have the action guide, what you're seeing is 2 columns. If you don't, here's what you're going to do. On a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle so that you have a column on the left and a column on the right. In the first column, step 1, what you're going to do is you're going to write down every marketing activity you can think of. Okay, this is a brain dump. We're creating space for you to create a better plan. So it doesn't have to be logical. It doesn't have to be in order. You want to list everything you do consistently, everything you do inconsistently, everything you've been thinking about doing, things you've been curious about. Think about everything that's showing up in your email inbox, all those tactics they're selling on Facebook. Brain dump everything out. Okay, and this is not about getting it right. This is about creating a volume. You want a long list here to get it out of your head. Now, this is what a list typically looks like. For most people, a list is at least 10 items long. The problem is if you're working on your own, a solo professional, and you're focusing on more than 4 activities, chances are you're not doing any of them very well. And if you're focusing on more than 6 and maybe learning 6 more, you're just going completely nuts. And the good news is it's completely unnecessary. So take a deep breath, because getting this list out of your head and onto paper is the first step to taking your energy back from being so scattered and worried. So now we've found what's going on and what's overwhelming you with marketing. It feels good, right? Now we're going to narrow it down and identify what works for you. We're going to go to that second column. Okay, so the right-hand column, for those of you who don't have the action guide yet, and you're going to further focus the marketing activities that will bring you great clients. So in the second column, you're going to write down the names of your top 5 clients. If you don't have a lot of clients yet, I'm going to give you a way to do this exercise in a moment. Don't worry. Now you're going to list your top 5 clients for the exercise today. What you want to do outside of this call is list probably 10 to 20. You want to get a good data, you want to get good information from this exercise. Now what you want to do is when you're writing down the names of these clients, only write down the clients who are great examples of your ideal client. These are the ones who are easy to work with. They appreciate your expertise. They pay you on time. They don't haggle, because it's so important not to include any client who makes you cringe or gives you a sinking feeling in your stomach, because this customized plan is going to help you multiply your results many times over, so you want to make sure you're multiplying the right clients. When you complete your list, it's going to look something like this. All right. The next step is you're going to consider where each client came from, and then draw a line from each client back to the marketing effort that brought them to you. This will quickly reveal the top marketing strategies you should focus on. And based on this example, it's pretty clear that I should be focusing the majority of my time on speaking and referrals. And by the way, for all of you who are very concerned about making sure your SEO is perfect and your technology and your, maybe you're falling behind in social media, the majority of clients in the coaching industry are gathered through speaking and referrals, industry-wide. Now, there are some people who do generate through online means, and that's great, and if that's the right fit for you, that's also good. You just need to focus in on that. But I just want to make sure to mention that for those of you who may be a little worried that you're missing the boat on the online thing. And industry-wide, speaking and referrals is how business is done. That's how clients are generated. All right. So if you're thinking you don't have many clients, I have another tool for you. Here you go. So what you want to do is you want to evaluate that brain dump marketing list. You're going to evaluate a little bit differently. Okay, so you're going to go through the list 3 times to evaluate it against these 3 criteria. You're looking for the overlap. So you're going to go through your list and ask yourself, which of these marketing activities do I enjoy doing? And you're going to put a little check mark next to the activities that you go, oh yeah, I love speaking, or I love being on Facebook, or I love whatever it is. I love doing that. The second thing you're going to do, you're going to go through the list again and say, which of these activities do I already know how to do? And what am I already skilled at? I don't have to take a 27-week Facebook course in order to start generating clients. So what am I skilled at? And put another check mark next to the marketing activities that you're skilled at. And then last, what marketing activities are you most confident will bring results? Maybe through what I shared today, that referrals and marketing, referrals and speaking are very successful in the industry for developing clients. So the third time you go through it, you're going to look at which of these activities am I most confident will get results. The activities that hit all 3 is where you're going to start your plan, because when you're doing things you enjoy, or when things you enjoy doing are on your to-do list, you will actually do them. You'll be melting your resistance to marketing. The things that you are skilled at, you don't have to wait. So it closes that gap between you marketing and getting clients. And then the things that actually get results, that you have a high degree of confidence, well, then you're going to engage in your marketing activities with confidence, which always sells better. And for those of you who are wondering, does this actually work, even if I don't have clients? The answer is yes. I'm going to give you a great example here. This is Jared. He's a consultant. He'd been a consultant for years, but he never had to find his own clients. So when he transitioned to business ownership, he found himself spinning, frustrated with the problem of finding clients and making every excuse to avoid marketing. So we created a results-oriented marketing plan from scratch, just like what I just described. Plus, we worked together on some of the other things I'm going to show you, creating magnetic messaging, his sales process, a really awesome 30-second introduction, and his productivity and time management. And here's what happened. Here's what happened for him. Because we found a way to market that I actually enjoy. I stopped avoiding marketing, and less than a month after hiring her, I signed my first new client for over $10,000. Understand, Jared had an incredible network. He just didn't know how to leverage it. So this is just one example. Now, I want you to think of this. What would it be like to have a marketing plan, a client generation plan, that's full of only the things you like to do, only things you're great at, and only things that will bring you the clients, the kind of clients that you love to work with predictably? Would that be an improvement over what you're doing now? Okay, I see your nods. I hear your nods. Fantastic. We're going to keep going because there's a few more steps here. And now we're going to take these top performing strategies that you've just identified and get crystal clear on the exact actions you need to take. So the first thing you're going to do is make sure to translate your strategies into actions, because what happens if you have only strategies on your list, your brain doesn't know what to do with them. I'll give you an example. For years I wanted to speak to groups, and I had on my to-do list speaking engagements. That's a strategy. That's not an action that's 100% under my control. So for probably about a year, I didn't book any engagements. I never even made any inquiries because I didn't translate it to an action. So as soon as I changed it to an action, like what it says here, make inquiries to groups and conferences about speaking, that's under my control. You have to get your business 100% under your control, and this is how you do it with your marketing. Translate your strategies into action. So speaking engagements translates to the action of making inquiries. Strategy of referral generation, referrals. The action is ask for a referral and do that multiple times during the month. So once you do that, you've got a place in your action guide to write down those action steps, and then you're going to decide on how many of them you're going to do. Okay, and this is how I work. I work pen to paper a lot of times, and so I jot things down, and that's why I'm including the low-tech version right here. So next you're going to decide how many of the actions you're going to take on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. This is what it should look like. And getting specific is critically important. I'll tell you why in just a minute. Commit to a particular number. You can adjust it later, but you want to start with a plan that is specific. Okay, the next part is implementation, and the implementation phase is where things really start to happen in your business, but only if you make implementation a priority. And the truth is, with so many demands on a business owner's time, it's very easy to let it slip through the cracks. So here are two things you can do to make sure your marketing gets done. First, set appointments on your calendar to do your client generating activities, your marketing, and have a no matter what attitude about this time. You treat it like you treat a client appointment. There's no way you wouldn't show up for your clients. Why would you put this off? Why would you not show up for yourself? During this time, you want to turn off your email, turn off your phone if at all possible, and don't schedule over this time. Don't push it off. And a good tip is to get a jump start on the plan is to put more time into your calendar early in the month. Now, this is showing a first week of a month, the way that I schedule my marketing, because I like to get it done early. I like to get it off my plate quickly at the beginning of the month, because the longer you wait, the heavier it gets. It's mentally taxing to not have it done. It's energizing to have it done. So the rest of the month, I can do much less or nothing. All right, so the second thing is tracking. Okay, the second thing is tracking your progress. Tracking is a huge motivator because it shows you what you've accomplished. And to feel accomplished, you have to know what you've accomplished. It's kind of a no-brainer, but we don't do it. So it also shows you what is still left to do so you can schedule accordingly. And from your tracking, you can develop a very accurate formula for how to get all of the clients and the income you want. So what should you track? At the most basic level, you want to track activities and results. The activities come directly from the marketing plan you just created, and you want to keep a tally throughout the month. I'll show you what that looks like in a second. And the second thing is results. Now, you don't want to make this terribly complicated, but you do want to track a handful of indicators that you are getting results. For example, some things you can track: income or revenue, new prospects or prospect appointments generated, new clients, website hits, website inquiries, speaking gigs booked, referrals received. There's a lot you can track. And it's critically important you do track results because it's so easy to confuse being busy with being successful and profitable. It's so easy to confuse being busy with being profitable. They are not the same thing. And that's a great thing about tracking and numbers. They are unemotional. They tell you the truth. They will tell you clearly if you're on the right track or if you need to change something. Now here's a really simple tracking tool. Again, I'm pretty low-tech gal. Good thing is low-tech is cheaper than a lot of the stuff that's out there. This is an example of a tracking tool you can use. And from the tracking, you'll have a formula that will let you know exactly how to plug in a certain number of activities into your calendar and have a predictable number of clients each month. And this happens over probably a process of about 90 days. Do the activity, track your results. And after 90 days, you're going to see, okay, if I do 30 referral asks, I get 3 referrals, which turn into 1 client. I want 2 clients. So then you double your activity. That gives you a high degree of control over your business. So you can have a formula to accurately predict and control your results. Now I'm going to go one step further, and this gets pretty intense. If you're not ready for this, that's okay. You can go back to it. It's outlined very clearly in your action guide. So to multiply your results, every activity you do needs to be systematized and connected with your other marketing activities. When this is in place, the results from your efforts will skyrocket. And here's what it looks like. So for each of the activities on your plan, ask yourself, how can I systematize this so it takes less of my time? And that simply means, how do I make it a step-by-step process? And I'm going to give you a great example towards the end of the call with my booking process. Step 1, step 2, step 3. The biggest drain on any company, and I don't care if you're a solo entrepreneur or if you're General Motors, the biggest drain on any company is mental processing. Thinking through menial tasks is such a waste of time and energy. You need to be devoting that to developing your business, developing your client, developing your skill set. Okay, so the first thing is, how can I systematize this so it takes less of my time? And the second thing to ask is, how can I make connections between my marketing strategies so they leverage each other and multiply my results? And here's a little example. What you're seeing here is how one area of my marketing, all the pieces work together. So this is like a machine, okay? You do one thing and it kicks off results and the other processes. It connects with the other processes. Everything's connected. Now, I think of this almost like gears connecting with each other. You, let's say speaking is one of your marketing activities. You put some energy in speaking, that turns a gear, and then when all of your other marketing activities are connected in with that, it starts all the other ones spinning too. So you're getting multiple results, as opposed to the spinning plates model. You've seen that vaudeville act where people are spinning plates on the tops of dowels, and they're running around like crazy, trying to keep everything going, tons of energy, and at the end, all the china, all of it comes crashing down on the stage. That kind of marketing plan is not sustainable, it's not predictable, and it is absolutely exhausting. So what you're seeing here is that when I do my speaking inquiry process, the blue or the purple squares here, they are all processes. Those are all systematized. 3-step inquiry process, very simple. The green are results. So I get a speaking gig. When I do the speaking gig, it leads to clients, leads and clients. It also builds my list because I collect information. I have a process for that. Then they go into my newsletter, my blog system, and I leverage the content going into my newsletter and my blog, so that's connected. At each event, I also ask for referrals to future gigs. And so now that is bypassing one of the activities, but putting me right back into the process of getting more speaking gigs. So you see, it's got to be very tight. This is why it can be so effective to just have 2 to 4 marketing activities and having them all work together to build on each other and expand each other. All right. So great job. That is a big chunk. And now that you've got this first tool, it may feel a little strange, unfamiliar, maybe you don't quite trust it, sounds too easy. And it may take a few days or weeks to untangle yourself from the way you've been thinking or what you've been doing. But don't worry, at least now you've got a starting plan to follow, and it gives you a way to laser focus on just a handful of marketing activities that actually work. Now look, making these changes can be uncomfortable, but you have a choice. You can either continue with your overwhelm by chasing after whatever strategy your email spits out today, or you can do what successful business owners do. They focus, they identify what's working, and they follow it religiously. All right. On to the next big chunk. We'll learn the complete more clients, less hassle system to double your income and cut your work in half. And of course, this is based on what I discovered to get into when I was going into survival mode when I was sick, when I had 4 hours of energy a week. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because I found that most coaches have gained their business building knowledge piece by piece. A bit of blogging over here, maybe some speak to sell training over there, sprinkle in some ideal client work, a dab of time management. And what happens is you end up with a time-consuming mess that isn't producing the results you want. Now, what does this approach cost you? Well, for one, money. It's an expensive approach because you're investing in piece after piece, but you never get the whole picture, the whole customized plan, so that everything is pulling in the same direction. Of course, the other thing it's costing you is time, because it's how long do you want to wait to figure out how to get it all pulling together in the same direction, bringing in clients and money. And I can give you a great example because I know there are some brand new coaches on the call today. So this is Melna, brand new coach in Sacramento. She was excited but unclear. She wasn't even struggling yet. She hadn't even started, but she was focused on getting started fast and getting started right. We worked together for a day and on all of the areas I just showed you to structure her business around her strengths and values and around the ideal clients she wanted to serve. And here was her immediate aha moment. She said, I went to my final coaching certification class and the group got into a discussion about how to grow our businesses. After listening to everyone's struggles, I realized that because just the one day I spent with you, I'm already years ahead of my classmates. This is a process that works. It's not about doing huge amounts of work or very difficult things. It's about focus and really digging deep into who you are. So if you're willing to work, this system makes sure your work pays off. So let's jump in. All right, so the first is the dream business profits path. Now, why is this important? Because building a business in perfect alignment with your values and your vision is a critical way. It's critical to making sure you're building a business you love. Now, most coaches are very good at doing the vision and the values piece, but the third part is the profits. Okay, the part that gets missed is how do you price your services so you have all the experiences and all of the life that you want. Okay? So your plan needs to include your values, what's most important to you at the deepest level, your vision, what are your goals and what's going to make you truly happy in life, and the third piece, as I mentioned, is the money part. How do you price your services so that you can have everything that you want in life? When you have all these three things in place, you'll know exactly what to say yes to because it will be in perfect alignment, and when you do that, you get results so much faster. Now, we already went over the marketing results multiplier, and when you connect step one with your marketing plan that you just created, then you are in specific focused action with regards to your plan, so the income is consistently coming in, making sure your vision is becoming a reality. And next is the ideal client attraction plan. Now, why is this so important to know exactly who your ideal client is? Well, because it saves you a tremendous amount of time. When you know exactly where to look for your ideal clients, you will waste less time going to the wrong meetings, being in the wrong Facebook groups, talking to the wrong prospects, and eventually getting the wrong clients. And what I want to do is I want to offer you a completely different perspective on that, because you've probably looked at the industry you may want to work with or the demographic, or you've probably been encouraged to get a niche. And I want you to look at this completely differently. Okay, this is something you may not have considered, and it's really important, has made a transformative difference in my clients' businesses. So here it is. You want to look at what attributes does your ideal client need to possess in order to be successful with you. And say that again. What attributes does your ideal client need to possess to be successful with you? And I'm going to give you an example from my own business, and I'm going to reveal some of my failures here to you. What I have found, and I call these my ideal client success characteristics. I encourage you to create these for yourself. Because I only take on clients who I believe will be successful, I make sure prospects have these characteristics. They're decisive, they're smart, and coachable. They're ready to invest time, effort, and money in order to make more money. They're sick and tired of settling for small successes. and they want to make a difference in the world. Now, I discovered this by looking at clients who hired me and failed, because it happens. Now, I found that if I took on clients who were indecisive, they already know everything, they're not interested in taking action or investing in themselves, or they're just totally okay with how things are, they're not very motivated, or they're just out for themselves and to make money without any heart involved, what I teach doesn't work for these people. 3 failures on my part in 6 years. That's not a lot, but I took it very seriously, and these experiences really taught me to make sure prospective clients are willing to work and they're focused on making a difference. These were key factors because all of my other clients over the years have grown their businesses significantly. So I encourage you to create these success characteristics within your ideal client profile because it's win-win. In my business, the win-win was that my client success rate is coming close to 100%, and my own business expanded dramatically. All right, moving on. You're doing great. All right, magnetic marketing messaging. Now, why is this important? Well, because you're going to get clients faster. Instead of going on and on and on about what you do, you will learn how to encapsulate it and have people saying, I need you very quickly. And here's a great example. This is Lyne. She's very active within ICF, a real champion for the industry of coaching, but she had a hard time generating leads consistently. She went to a trade show. She didn't even have a table there. She just went to a trade show that was packed with her ideal clients, which is part of her marketing strategy. And here's what happened for her. She said, I participated in a trade show and got 10 great leads just from walking the floor. It was a very different experience for her. I know this is a result of the work we did to create a clear and compelling 30-second introduction. Okay, so how do you create a 30-second introduction that is clear and compelling? Well, the most important thing is for you to stop talking about what you do. Now, I know you've worked hard for your training. I know that you've got experience that makes a difference in the lives of your clients. But when they get to you, they don't care. All they care about is what's going on with them. So what your 30-second introduction should be is a picture, a verbal picture of what your ideal client is experiencing. What are they going through? What is their problem? What is the solution they're going through? And it's rarely what you think it is. But take the focus off of you. It's one of the brilliant things about working with coaches is they get this because the focus is always on the client in your work. And so you get to translate what you know from coaching right into your marketing. Make your marketing about your ideal clients. All right, the next piece, the sales and closing. This is where you get to truly connect with prospective clients and dig deep into what they need and how you can help. So you need to know exactly how to have supportive, direct sales conversations to help them decide to work with you. All of the other efforts you put in die here if you don't develop this skill. Now, you may feel like my client Mandy. She was so resistant to sales because she had so many assumptions about what sales was. She was thinking of, the sleazy car salesman. But when we worked together and we untangled some of those assumptions, she came to understand that sales is truly about connecting with a prospect. So she was able to fully engage in the process, and here's her story. This is straight from an email she sent me. She said, today I had a call with a prospect and sold the highest coaching program so far. In only two weeks, I've made back 80% of my investment with Mary. As it turns out, sales doesn't have to be gross and difficult, and we can all do this. All right, she is just lovely. So here's my tip for you in this, because the worst thing is to be creating all these great leads and then have it fall apart in the sales process. So my tip is to lay the foundation with all of the other elements in the process and then have a structure for your sales conversation. If you take all the other steps, you have your business plan and it's aligned with your vision and values, and you understand your profit, how you're going to be profitable. You have your action plan for your marketing. You know who your ideal client is and what's going to make them successful, and then you know how to express it. Then the sales part should be the easy part. So it will be the easy part if you do all of that, but you also need a structure. Okay, you do not want to have a sales conversation that does not have a structure. Good sales conversation structures are based on psychological processes that help people decide based on what they want, not what you want. It helps you stay out of feeling pushy or salesy. There's a lot of great processes out there. I, of course, have a couple of them because not everyone engages the same way. So you want to have some options, but use a sales process. And last but not least, peak productivity, because if you are busy now, guess what? It gets harder to manage your time the more clients you have. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news here, but I'm not going to lie to you and say that everything is all peaches and rosebuds when you go through these steps and start getting more prospects and clients. So my tip for you in this area is to block out time every month, at least 8 hours, to develop and plan your business. This is called working on your business as opposed to working in your business. In your business is sending emails, doing client work, going to networking events. The working on your business is your thinking time, your reflecting time, your evaluation time, so you can always feel 100% confident that your efforts are paying off, you're investing yourself in the right areas, and that you're moving yourself towards having that bigger income and bigger impact. All right, so let's do a quick check on what's left today. What's ahead is number one, getting into action. We're going to do a little work on that. Talk about how to get results faster. I'm going to give you my booking system with a magic email, and we're going to take some questions. So you've done a lot of great work today. You've moved through a lot of information. I appreciate you sticking with it because I know it is a lot. And let's talk about getting into action now. Now, this system supports what I said at the beginning, is that anyone can create a steady stream of great clients. I did it when I was sick, so I know anyone can do it as long as you have some structure and strategy. So now it's all about smart implementation. So take a moment right now. How do you get into bite-sized action? We don't want to get into overwhelm anymore. What one thing will you commit to implementing immediately to start moving you in the right direction? Take a second, write that down. Now, bite-size is great. It's a start, but like I said, settling for small successes is not the recipe for overall success. So let's start to think bigger. Now, put down your pen or your whatever you're taking notes on. We want to do some reflection. Close your eyes, unless you're driving. Don't close your eyes if you're driving. Close your eyes, and let's shift gears and get into motivation mode. I want you to imagine what it would be like running your business, knowing exactly what you need to do every day, and imagine doing the kind of activities that actually fuel you, that you want to do all day long, and that leave you feeling satisfied and accomplished and energized at the end of the day. And imagine these activities produce predictable results without leaving you frustrated or confused, without leaving you feeling overwhelmed. And imagine not having to work so hard and worry about where your money is coming from, and not worrying about where your next client is going to come from. What if the business side of your business could be just as engaging and rewarding as the client work? That is truly what I hope you take away from today. So open your eyes, and let's talk about getting this into action. Because right now, I know, I mean, I get excited about this. I know the people are listening. You're getting excited about it, and you're fired up with what I've showed you. You're like, yes, Mary, I'm going to customize and systemize. I see what I need to do now, but what's the challenge? Change is hard. It just is. It's the way we're wired. And the biggest mistake people make is that they think they've gotten everything they need, and they think, I'm going to do this on my own. And the problem is we are creatures of habit. And you know this. You're coaches. You know we need support. So you're going to probably take these great ideas. They're wonderful. You may go back to doing what you've always done, even because even though what I've shown you is simple and easy, it's also new and unfamiliar. And we don't like doing what's new and unfamiliar. So without the proper structure, without proper support, you may not do it. You know. So you've probably experienced this before. Great ideas, 3 months later, you find the handout from the workshop you went to. It's like, oh, I meant to do that. So I want to support you in not letting that happen again. So here are 2 ways, 2 complementary opportunities to support you further. So here's the first one. If you'd just like to stay connected, get free resources like webinars and my amusing / informative articles that I put together, just shoot me an email, mary@marykravitz.com. And I will make sure that you get on that list. Got great stuff going on all the time. I truly believe that if I put out good content, that great clients will come back to me. And if that's not enough, you're like, no, you know what, actually I need more than just free stuff, and I might want to learn a little bit more about the work you do. What I recommend, if you want more, is I recommend a business breakthrough session. And here's what you can expect during your session. You will share your business, your strengths, your values, and goals with me. My team member or I will identify your top opportunities to reach your goals faster, and then we will decide together how to work together further. Now, just to be clear, these sessions are free, but they're limited in number. We only have so many hours in the day, so it's first come, first served. Here's how you get your appointment. You're going to go to marykravitz.com/breakthrough, and you're going to answer 3 simple questions that will help us match you up with the best person on my team to support you and for you to speak with. During your appointment, you're going to get something precious. You're going to get time out from the busy to focus on you. We'll take you through a simple guided process and ask questions designed to help you reflect and get clarity about your top opportunities for growth. So if you're listening in and don't have the slide in front of you, the website is Mary Kravitz, spelled MARYKravitz.com/breakthrough. So I look forward to having conversations with you and having you meet some of my teammates who are just absolutely fabulous, excellent at what they do. All right, so here, let's jump right to that last awesome thing we're doing at the end here. This is the 3-step booking process. So the first thing you're going to do is you've got to find these speaking gigs, and that is usually one of the biggest stumbling blocks for people. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to do a Google search. This is so easy, it's ridiculous. So you're going to type in the city name, okay, whatever that is, Atlanta, Dallas, Los Angeles. Type that in first. And then in quotation marks, you're going to type in one of the following, either monthly speaker, or guest speaker, or call for speakers. This will pull up everything in that area where of all the groups, all the events that have speakers. And so then you'll just, it's just a matter of navigating to the contact page, finding out who the programs person is. And the monthly speaker and guest speaker, that's usually for like business groups, social groups. The call for speakers search parameter is often for bigger events like conferences. Okay, so that's step 1. Do your Google search. Once you find the people to contact, then you send what I call the magic email. And it's not magic at all, it just works. Your subject line, which is critically important, do not change this. Quick question about your group. I do recommend changing your group that I give you here, the phrase your group. Change it to the name of the group you're inquiring with. Quick question about your ICF group. Quick question about your NAVO group. This is a subject line that gets emails opened, which is the first barrier that you just blast through it with that subject line. And then this is the entire email. Hi Susan, happy Tuesday, or still in the day of the week, of course. What is the process for being a speaker for your group? I'd love to be considered. Thanks, Mary. You do not attach your speaker sheet. You do not talk about what you do. You do not include links to your website, because what you want to do is, the first thing is you want to get into a conversation with these people. You want them responding. And the cool thing about this approach is it takes it out of that terribly uncomfortable dynamic of yes and no, win and lose, trying to prove yourself. Am I presenting the right topic that will get them to book me? It just pulls it completely out of that dynamic. So instead, you're just engaging. What is the process? Very professional. Now, I had one client who did this, and she immediately booked 6 speaking gigs in the upcoming 6 weeks. That was huge. I had another client who was booking nothing. I was like, I don't know what's going on, Joan. Okay, the next time you do this, copy me, blind copy me, and what you send out. Well, it turns out she was changing all of this. she just changed it completely. So really, it's this specific format. Now, if you want to take out Happy Tuesday, that's fine, but everything else stays if you want it to work. Now, step 3, it's optional. You don't even have to do this. It's a call with the same script. Hi, Susan, what's the process for being able to speak for your group? I'd love to be considered. Do not let the simplicity of this fool you. This works. Okay, so look at this. We are doing great on time. So Kathy, if you want to, I'm going to pop up this, we're going to take questions, but I'm going to leave us up on this screen here so that if anyone wants to jot down the website to schedule a business breakthrough session, they've got that right in front of them. But let's open it up for questions.
Awesome. So one question that came in while you were talking, what about the sales process when there's a sponsor in the middle? And so Mary, knowing that you're not a coach, you're a business development expert or a growth expert, when we say sponsor, that's like a company who's paying the coach, whereas the client is a different person.
Oh,
so to clarify that question.
Yeah, that's okay, great. Sponsor, yeah, I was like, I don't know what that means, but yes, okay. Great question, first of all, and this is, it's actually so much fun. Okay, let me figure out where to start because there's a lot of components. When you're coaching people who are within an organization and the organization is paying for it, you have to do a little more work on your ideal client. So you have to define your ideal client. So this is kind of the whole process here. You define your ideal client from the ideal client's perspective. What are they struggling with? What are they dealing with? What level of management are they at? What are they looking to accomplish? Okay. Then you have to describe them in a different way. You describe them from the manager or the HR person, like basically the person who's making the decision to hire. How does that person see this employee? How is their behavior, their achievement or lack of achievement affecting the company? So when you are making contacts and looking for people within companies to help connect you with your end user client, you have to describe it from the perspective of how is this impacting the company. I can give you an example. I work with one consultant from Florida, and she loves working to help HR retain key talent. And the key talent, what's happening is that they came in, these people were total rock stars, they're awesome, they started to move up, and now they are just this complete problem child. Everyone avoids their office, but they're worth investing in because they're hugely talented, but they're very disruptive at this point. So we say she takes their people who are rock stars who have turned into problem children. Okay. You talk to an HR manager, and they know exactly who that person is if they're in their organization. Okay, so you have to describe it from a couple of different directions. And then, of course, the marketing is asking for referrals to get connected with HR or management. It's going to networking meetings that have the CEOs and the directors and so forth, or the HR people, HR, what are they called, HR associations. To connect with those people and start those conversations with that message. And then the sales process, of course, is then how do you move that forward, much bigger conversation. But that's usually, those are the critical two starting points. If you don't get there, then it doesn't matter what the sales process is.
Awesome, thank you. A couple more questions. So the next one, you gave an example of languaging for emailing to speak. What language do you use for getting referrals?
Okay, good one. Again, it's a longer process. I teach a strategy, because the thing is, referrals is like, it's just such a, people go, oh, it's such a throwaway. It's like, oh yes, just ask for referrals. And well, it's not quite that simple if you want it to be effective. So what you want to do is create a referral generating system, which means you put effort in and you get referrals out. So there's steps to it, of course. So the first step is you make a list of all the people who are both willing to refer to you, you believe are willing to refer to you, and are in a position to refer to you. So, for instance, my mother-in-law adores me and is willing to refer, but she doesn't come across any entrepreneurs or coaches who would be good clients for me. So you have to put together that list, and then you qualify them. And that means you contact them and say, hey, I'm going to keep in touch. I'm looking to build my business. Would you be willing to refer to me if you come across people who could use my services? And of course, that means you have to be able to describe your ideal client clearly to them. And it's very, I mean, it's just a clarification process so that your expectations are clear. And they're going to say yes. You say, fantastic. I'm going to work to provide you value over the next, when I contact you once a month. And the way you provide value is you keep your eye out for interesting articles, things that would be of value to them. You repost what they're doing in social media. You stay connected with them. And then once a month, not less than once a month, you reach out to them personally. By phone is best. And then it's just, hey, have you run into anyone recently who could use my services? And by email is not a great way to do that.
Awesome. Okay, great. So the next question that came in, can you give an example of the psychological structure of your sales closing?
No, actually I can't. And the reason is because that's not, I developed the sales process through the guidance of people who understand the psychological process. Okay, so I got coached basically by people who have that background.
Okay. Fair enough. It's based on what works, right?
Yeah, exactly. But the long and the short of it is that it is funny. I was revamping and going through my own sales process, my conversation, and I was looking at it. And I've been doing this for years. And I looked at it, and I'm like, these questions aren't so I get the answers. It's so that they get the answers. This was yesterday. I'm not joking. So I mean, these understandings are constantly evolving. But having a bit of trust in what works, and not, having the why is important to some people, and digging in is a good idea. And sometimes being able to just say, okay, I'm comfortable with this. It works. What's most important to me is making a difference and getting more clients. I'm going to leave the why on the back burner for right now.
Nice, nice, love it. Okay, next question for you. What advice do you have for a coach who will be transitioning from paid employment to self-employment in the next year in applying these principles to hit the ground running?
Oh, great question. Well, first of all, start building your network now. From the perspective of an entrepreneur, who do you know who will be able to provide you referrals? So start making that list. Of course, depending on who those people are and how close they are to your employment and how transparent you can be with the fact you're leaving employment, it may or may not be the right move to reveal that you're leaving, of course. So you have to make that judgment call. But start making that list. The people who you can be transparent with, do so as quickly as possible. But do it very cautiously. Also, save your money, seriously, because transitioning is not easy. I would like you to be able to transition once. I've watched a couple of people, they're told, oh, leap and the net will appear, and they don't have the strategy and they don't have the structure, and they have to go back to work before they can actually transition for good. The other thing is get some clients now. Start getting accustomed to accepting money for your services. Incredibly important. People who are employees for a long time, there is a very different understanding of how income is earned when you're an employee versus when you are an entrepreneur, a business owner. Start getting clients, have them hand you money. All right, and get your overall plan together. What I've given you today is a real good outline. Spend time with it. Okay, get your plan, know what you want. And also one quick tip, especially for the newer coaches, is that whatever your ideal client profile, whatever the niche you are thinking you're going to do, understand that that is probably version 1.0. Okay, I have watched so many coaches make the mistake of buying a $10,000 website and having 5,000 business cards printed up, and hiring a complete social media team, investing very heavily in the niche that they're sure is going to be perfect for them. And then once they get out, they find out, wow, that niche won't buy, which is a problem sometimes. And so you need to shift. Okay? So when you're starting out, having this structure will help you take the best, will help you make the best attempt, the most leverage attempt at getting it right. And understand you have to hold it in an open palm. I mean, if someone told me even 2 years ago that my focus would be mostly on working with coaches and consultants, I would have laughed at them and be like, are you kidding? That is such an overcrowded market. They're totally sold to all the time. I wouldn't want to be another person there, but then it just evolved that this is what the industry is ready for. For me. Yay.
Nice.
Yeah, I know. Well, the industry is sick of the hype and the overblown overnight success BS that's out there.
And let me
practical
give you the next question, because I'm recognizing time and I want to make sure we're getting to people.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. This one is, where else do you look for leads besides speaking events and referrals?
Okay. So I'm going to give you 2 things here. The first one is really important, and this is a mantra that I have programmed all my clients with. So I'm going to give you some ideas, but also understand that more is not better. So the mantra is this: don't ask what else, ask what works. Don't ask what else, ask what works, and do more of that. Okay. I was working with a company one time, and they said, well, 80% of our business comes from referrals, so we'd like to work to strengthen the 20% of this other stuff we're doing. And I just smacked my forehead, because it's like, look, if you're getting 80% of your business from referrals and you're not even systematizing it, let's systematize it. And if you just get 50% more from that area, it's going to be easier, more effective, and bring you 2, 3, 4 times the results as focusing on the weak part. Okay, so when I say focusing on speaking and referrals is good, it's because that's what works. Caveat to that: if you hate speaking, don't do it. Absolutely don't do it. The whole idea of doing things that you like to do, that you're skilled at, that you enjoy, it trumps the industry standard. Okay, whatever's working in the industry. So just know that. I always try to say that. So the second part is, if you want to generate more leads, a couple other ideas. One thing that's important is, as you're going out and collecting referrals, or one way to collect referrals or to gather a bigger list for your referral generation, is networking. Get out face-to-face with people. Your business is a face-to-face business. Even if you don't see clients face-to-face, there is that element to it. So you have to get some kind of face-to-face thing going on, whether it's networking, whether it's video out there on the internet, but face-to-face works, and then getting the people you're meeting onto an email list and putting out valuable content. And valuable content doesn't even have to always be your content. I'm making a concerted effort to put out brilliant TED Talks as often as, like once or twice a month. So I don't have to create the content, but I'm curating content for people.
Awesome. Okay, so more coming in. And by the way, in between all of these, there are people that obviously had things scheduled. So you're getting lots of thanks and kudos. One of them had something specific, so I want to share it. Many thanks for narrowing the focus. Sometimes we think that doing lots of stuff that means something will stick, but you are right. When I think of just one item on the list, I can see it come alive. So that was really great, and I think that's what you were just answering. The next question, and I kind of feel like I know the answer to this one too. How can you guarantee that the niche you want can afford your services? And my reaction is, well, number one, you can't guarantee it. Number two, you can do your research and look into it. What do you want to add to that?
You're absolutely right. You cannot guarantee, and it's one thing that comes to mind is a client I worked with, and she has a background, she's a coach, and she has a background in recruiting, like corporate recruiting in big companies like Apple. So she got a brilliant network, and she understands the stresses and strains on recruiters very intimately. And so she thought, this is a niche who needs me, and I have credibility there. Well, we went, we crafted the messaging, and we looked at it, and people, she talked to people, oh yeah, we need it. This is one of the, this is a good warning to bring up, by the way. Okay, so let me complete the thought, and I'll get to the warning in a second. So we found that those were people who were too busy and couldn't even get their head above water to think about a solution, and they didn't have the money for it. So it's just a population that was not ready to be served. We had to shift her, and it turns out her niche was millennials, and that's working out beautifully. You can't guarantee it. You do the research, and you have to work within markets where what you offer is valuable. One of my clients, actually my coach, my own coach on time management and capacity building, she has to keep upping her game for where she goes, because where time is most valuable is for people who are executives and high-level entrepreneurs, where making decisions about what to do and what not to do and what to delegate means thousands of dollars. So where are you valuable? And it isn't always dollars either. Let's be clear about that. It could be health-related. It could be relationship. I mean, how valuable are your relationships? It could be just your mental health, going after your passion, living a life on purpose. Where is that? Where do people value that? It's partly the niche, and it's partly the way you message it. There's that. Now, what was the warning I was going to give? Oh, darn. I will remember. We'll go on to the next thing. If I don't remember, I'll send it to you later, but I will remember this.
Okay, awesome. So I love this next one. Our business is a 3-generation trio. We tried the marketplace and were successful, but it didn't bring us satisfaction. We are transitioning to the church and was wondering if the Google search would work for us.
If you're talking about speaking engagements within churches, I think
so. I think so.
Okay. Then yes, and you add I would add the search criteria church.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Again, at this point, as I scroll through all these comments in the question panel, it looks like what we're getting is those thank yous, etc. I do realize we've definitely gone over time. So Mary, thank you so much. It's so great to have you, and a lot of great tips. So awesome.
Good.
And
all right, great. Thank you for having me on. Please feel free, everyone, keep in touch. Send me an email at my email address, Mary@MaryKravitz. I'll make sure that you I do have a messaging webinar coming up next week. So good stuff coming up right away if you want to be involved. And of course, I'd love to support you through the business breakthrough session, get some clarity around what your next steps are.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Mary. And thank you, everybody, for being here. We still have such a great group. So I will close out the webinar. We will get this posted on YouTube and, of course, send all of you a link. I will copy Mary when I send that, so you'll all have her email in that email. So thank you, everyone.